Hey guys, all right. So happy Tuesday to everybody. Hope everyone had a great day, good weekend. So let's get into it. There's a slew of data that came out this morning, and bonds did not rally off of that. Now, for this particular instance, I would say that that is a good thing. And the reason as to why that is a good thing that bonds did not rally off of all this data that was released this morning is because as of now, the bond market is not pricing in a recession. And remember, the bond market is the largest, market in the world. So what happens in bonds is of the utmost significance. So, as of now, and just for the data that was released today, I would say the fact that bonds did not rally is a good thing. Now, bond market is pricing in two cuts this year, and if the Fed is going to cut interest rates into an economy that is not declining or not in a recession, or that, and almost more importantly than just that, than the reality is the sentiment of market participants. If they do not think that there will be a recession and the Fed is cutting interest rates in an economy that market participants believe will be strong, then that is going to be a very good thing for stocks and equities, risk assets moving forward. So, I've been talking about the bond market for months and how concerning this is, and it is still very concerning. But just today, the fact that bonds were not rallying, I would consider that a good thing just for today. We'll see what's going to keep transpiring. I still am concerned about the bond market. I have been for a long time. We'll see. So there's that. Get that out of the way. I just wanted to sort of get that out of the way and then jump into my positions. Now, since the last video, I closed out the debit spreads and SPY, and I managed these very poorly. What should have been a fantastic gain turned out to be a small gain. And the reason for that is, I sold out of these debit spreads. I let my emotions get me out of this position and not any sort of sell rules. And so, as we all know, that is the number one no in stock trading is any sort of emotion-based decision. So now moving on to my other positions that we're in. Okay, so we'll just go over to the Qs to NASDAQ here, and you guys know I like to use the leveraged NASDAQ fund. And so these are calls. They're July 18 is the expiration, $70 strike price. I paid $670. Those are currently $755. And so now we'll go over here to futures and see what I think about NASDAQ and tech stocks. Now, hedge funds are still underweight tech. So if this market is going to be rallying higher, I believe it will be from tech stocks. And so, NASDAQ still, hey, this looks good. This is fine. This is not in any sort of stretch territory. The thing is yes, we're right here into a whole area of resistance, but at this still sort of same level of resistance, things stalled out, for like a week or so, maybe 10 days, somewhere around there. And it was all totally normal, no heavy volume. It gave us a chance to get long, index funds in here like I like to do. So yeah, I still think tech stocks look okay. I'm still trying to figure out if I would consider this a breakout or not. Just given the fact of how Monday's price action was, closing at highs after consolidating for this period of time that we've been consolidating, I was expecting today to be a good day for equities. And in fact, it was a good day for equities. We'll see if this can continue. I don't really know if I consider this a breakout or not. I really don't know. It's still, uptrending. Everything looks good. No sell rules have been hit yet, so we'll continue to watch that and see what's going on. Argentina gave me a chance to get back into Argentina. The close, not so good. I got into this on this day. What is that? Thursday? Friday? Monday? Yeah, so Thursday. July 18 is the expiration, $90 strike price. Paid $470. Those are $375. Now, this close is not so good, and we're just gonna let this thing ride. This meets all of my criteria. Stochastic is down here at 20. The RSI's down here at 50, and this breaks out to all-time highs, pulls back to the previous place where you would like to see this pull back to. So as of now, no sell rules are broken. The fact that it's below the 21-day EMA is of concern, but you can give stocks some wiggle rooms, things that are in, bull markets. And clearly this isn't a bull market. This is now on the weekly chart here. You can see, you gotta give something like this a chance to work. Like this pattern is pretty fantastic. Just a simple breakout to all-time highs, pulling back to where it previously broke out from. So, gotta give this one a chance to work. Be patient with it. You look at the multi-chart, this is just fantastic. That's pretty wild. So, there's that for Argentina. Moving on over to a controversial one, and for good reason. This Palantir, I can't recall if the previous... No, it was on this day. So this was Thursday or Friday. So Friday I started a position in Palantir. What is this? Is this today? So this is Tuesday, Monday, Friday. Yeah, so it was on Friday, started a position. And Palantir looked fantastic. You guys remember from my previous video that I made, I said, hey, Palantir's starting to look really good. Somewhere back in this area. And, in fact, on Friday, it rocketed higher. And, right here, this was like 7% move, over the course of 40 minutes or so. And I thought, oh, crap, I missed it. But was given a gift. Look at this massive pullback. And so I started a position all through here, like 125. And this is just an equity position. But was it yesterday that I added to it? Yeah. I added to it yesterday, and so that brings the average cost basis to 126.67. The fact that this is kind of like limping out to all-time highs is of concern, but you cannot disregard the serious volume and the fact that this dip was completely bought. That's pretty wild. Now, for maybe some people who don't know, why is Palantir controversial? First of all, it's a controversial company to begin with. Um, so, uh, you know, the Trump administration is trying to have Palantir create a sort of database on American citizens. Now, Palantir has come out and said that they're not going to use any of that data to illegally spy on U.S. citizens. Now, if you believe what government or media or companies, tell you, then it's, at this point, I don't, know what to say. You can all but guarantee they are using that data in any way they see fit. We'll just leave it at that. Now, also, not to get all doom and gloom, but also in that Trump bill, the spending bill that he's trying to pass, there is a section in the spending bill, and I hate how politicians do this, where it's like this spending bill, and so everyone's like, oh, yeah, it's just a spending bill, and whatever, but they hide stuff in there, and what's hidden in there is that for 10 years, the government cannot restrict how companies use AI and data on American citizens. Okay, so I mean, it's super, super concerning. Not that I think the government should be involved in really anything anyways, but if anything, they should be protecting our freedoms, right? At a base level, right? Keep companies from gathering, illegal data and using our data or surveilling our, citizens, things like that, right? That would be a good thing the government can do. So, I don't know. That's all to say. I don't really know how I feel about holding Palantir, but I mean, you cannot argue with all of this, and this chart is just ridiculous. It's just insane. So we'll see what happens with Palantir here moving forward. All right, waste management. Now we're getting into my longer term positions. Waste management, stone waste management looks fantastic. GTX, on the other hand, looks terrible. Now I'm starting to think this entire gap down here to 940-ish is going to get filled. And if that's the case, then so be it. This is a long-term hold. I think I'm going to be holding this one for a while. This base, I mean, shoot. What is this? It broke out, pulled back to this base, right? Yeah. I would like the pullback to have been less drastic than this. I mean, this is insane. This is terrible, but hey, it still can work out. And yeah, I mean, you cannot argue with this base. This is a long, good, fantastic base. This is a 4-year base. I mean, pretty orderly, and so we'll see what happens with this one. But I mean, yeah, just the strength in the monthly chart. Look at these massive skyscrapers, as Jim Ropa likes to call it. And so that's it for the positions. Now let's go over indexes. So we already went over NASDAQ. We already sort of go over ES, which is NASDAQ very similar. No, yeah, I would say NASDAQ looks a bit better. Dow's starting to work, my all-time favorite index. This is not a position to start a position. This is not a spot to start a position in Dow. So, yeah, we won't. But But yeah, I mean, whoa, look at this on the weekly chart. This actually looks really good on a weekly chart. Wow. Monthly chart looks fantastic too. Are you kidding me? So who knows, man? You know, maybe we gotta wait for this to get over the 200-day moving average and wait for some sort of pullback, right? I mean, because Dow does not look as good as NASDAQ, for example. So you have to go with a better index, not to mention the fact that institutions are underweight tech stocks. So, you know, if there's a rotation that will will happen, it will happen into tech. Now we'll go over Russell. They're telling me Russell had a fantastic day today, and in fact, it did. So again, you know, all the slew of data that's coming out, you know, bonds did not rally off of that data, signaling bond market doesn't anticipate a recession just from the data, you know, today. And you have small caps, you know, rallying was 4%. Oh, 1.6%. I'm off by a little bit. I'm off by a little. But anyways, rallying pretty substantially still. That further corroborates the fact that market participants are increasing their appetite for risk. Okay. Now, oh my gosh, did I not go over Bitcoin? No, I did not go over Bitcoin. Crazy. Okay, so now we got to go back over Bitcoin position. Friday started Bitcoin position. This would be Friday. And maybe this is Friday. I don't know. And Bitcoin position in IBIT. So I have calls in IBIT. And this looks better than the futures chart. Although they're essentially one and the same. IBIT, August 15 is the expiration, $61 strike price. Average cost on those is $4.85. Those are currently $5. Man, dog's going nutso. And I added to these today. So, yeah, added to these today. You know, I don't know. How does this look? Let's see, where did I add these? Yeah, like, literally, probably like right here. So, yeah, you know, I don't know. This did look a lot better than it earlier, and it does right now. This actually is not that good looking right now, but it's above the 21-day EMA. The stochastic's down here at 20, so that fits my criteria. This pullback was on light volume, so again, that fits the criteria. Weekly chart looks, I don't know, looks okay. Monthly chart looks okay, so we're gonna let these rock and roll. So let's go over Bitcoin miners now. Here we go. Marathon, nice strong day. Clean Spark, nice strong day. Off the 50-day moving average. Yeah, wow. See, you know, these look pretty good here off the 50-day moving average. Let's see, Riot and yeah, cut. Okay, and Bitfarms. Looks terrible. All right, so now let's go over some sectors here. So let's go over energy sector, see how energy sector is looking, and it looks like crap. Let's look at oil. I don't know, you know. People could definitely argue that this is bottoming pattern, and you know, very well could be. I don't know. Okay. Real estate. Let's look at real estate and it's sort of hanging on. I still believe this could be a fantastic trade to catch this, but the bond market is really slowing this down. I don't know. Yeah, see, this is just sort of barely hanging on. But it looks okay, though. I don't know. Looks okay. Okay, let's go over banks. I really like trading this. And yeah, it just doesn't really meet my criteria as of yet. Although I don't think this looks bad. I can see plenty of people starting a position here. It just doesn't quite meet my criteria. I'm not forced into this trade. It's not an obvious trade to me, so we don't take those trades. Or I try my best not to take those trades that are not obvious. Okay, we'll go over biotech. And, well, all right. About the 50-day moving average. Again, I mean, this doesn't meet my criteria. I would not trade this at all. Same with healthcare. Sheesh. Let's go over industrials. Whoa. Industrials about to break out to an all-time high. It looks like. Holy moly. This looks fantastic. Wow. Wow. This may be one to play with debit spreads. Yeah. This may be one to play with debit spreads. Let's see this on a weekly chart. 1, 2, 3-ish weeks here. We're consolidating. Shoot, you guys, this looks fantastic. Industrials look great. Wow. All right, so then let's go over things like Caterpillar. And that kind of looks whatever. It's like a train. Sweet. Awesome. Now let's go over a new stock that I have on my watch list. Speaking of industrials, we have a construction company and recent IPO, and my gosh, you guys, I mean, this is a cup with handle. Doesn't get much better than that, apart from this huge selling. But this is an IPO. I have no idea when the lockup period would have been over. I have no idea how any of that was structured. So this could be, early investors cashing out. And I would argue that all of this selling is completely negated by this massive earnings beat. And I don't even know what to say. I mean, this looks so good. I really want to start an equity position here. I wanted to today. I might just have to. I mean, again, this is so beautiful looking. All right, now let's go over utilities. Yeah, looks all right. Communications. I don't know. Sort of kind of like in a funky area. Sort of just it's kind of the same with Dow, kind of the same with indexes. I think it's sort of in a funky area. All right, let's look at CCJ. Yeah, it looks good. Let's look at nukes. Well, yeah. We got some nuclear energy stocks here. Some high flyers. Look at this. Wowzers. Okay, Robinhood. Doing fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that article that I was telling you guys about a couple weeks back about Robinhood, they've got a very bright future ahead. And so now let's go over to Magnificent 7 and we'll call it a day. Microsoft hanging out around highs, that's fine. Google, um, you know, I mean, it's not like it looks bad or anything, right? But Microsoft's the leader in the group, so you would go after Microsoft. You would not go after Google. Nvidia, wow, nice day for Nvidia, right? I mean, so same thing here, right? So, you know, you look at Nvidia, you look at AMD, and, you know, like if you're going to go after the sector, you're going after Nvidia. You're not going after AMD. Just for, I mean, obvious reasons, right? I mean, why would you go after AMD when you have Nvidia, right? You know, so let's see, Common Semiconductor. Yeah, see, same thing, sort of in that funky range. Wow, SMH looks good. SMH looks good. You know, and for what it's worth, this is the first time in a long time I've seen AMD and thought, this actually looks pretty good right here. So, yeah. All right. Meta with their physical stores opening up. Again, you know, things are kind of in a funky position. We're in an uptrend. I just, you know, no sense in forcing any trades. There's no sense in doing that. Google, Meta. Oh, Apple and Tesla. Apple just looking like crap. And, you know, I secretly, which I guess is no longer a secret now that I'm going to say this, am hoping that maybe through Apple's massive underperformance in terms of their stock, that maybe they will change things around and stop with all this crap, you know, with like their battery life, or, you know, making a change to the iPhone where it's like they change the place where you plug it in, you know, just these little things like that, which is just so freaking annoying. You know, the headphones, right? All it's just like, dude, those headphones just, I mean, I recently went back to the corded headphones because, you know, they just get so annoying. Charging the freaking headphones, charging my laptop, charging the you know, the cell phone. They've got different plugs. It's just, you know, new headphone, you know, every year for no reason whatsoever. You know, it's like, forget it. I'm just getting then they die, right? You know, you're on a plane ride and then they die. You know, you're like, oh shoot, I didn't plug it in. Or sometimes, you know, like they fall out, I lose one, you know. It's just so little things like that. I hope maybe they can turn around. So wow, that was kind of a tangent for no reason. Okay, Tesla's starting to look pretty good again. You know, with Elon Musk coming back to work for Tesla, it would be foolish to bet against him and the success that he has, you know, created for himself and shareholders and employees. So you would put that into the bullish camp. I mean, shoot, yeah, see, on a monthly, this is still, you got a ways to go. However, recently, this has not really been meeting my eye. And you guys know I'm not a huge single stock fan. I say it a million times, you don't need single stocks to beat the market, so you know, oh shoot, Uber, yeah, last time I made that video, Uber, so I get out of Uber, right? So this was the perfect setup. Let's cast it down here, bounce off the 21-day moving average, these calls, that was up very nicely, and then because of an announcement Tesla makes, Uber gets crushed 6% that day, you know, so you take a big loss on those, and that's why single stocks, just stuff like that, where it just, why risk it? You don't need to risk it. So now, in terms of longer term positions, it's certainly different. But in trading options, there's no sense. No real sense. Let's see how Royal Caribbean is doing these days. Yeah, I mean, almost back at new highs. Yeah, wow. Let's see how our favorite burger joint's doing. Shake Shack, kind of stalling out where you'd think it would, but again, I mean, this is massive. Oh shoot, you know what? Oh gosh, what is it? No, XLK, that's tech. Why can't I think of regionals? XRE? What the heck is regionals? Regionals. Oh, it's KRF? Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe it right now. How I cannot think of regional banks. ETF. Oh well, can't think of it. It's so right there on the tip of my tongue. XLF. KRE. Phew, thank goodness I thought about that. That would have driven me insane. KRE looks okay. They're holding up, which is really good to see. So cool. Awesome. That's it. Ooh, Celsius is back around 40. Ooh, cool. Yeah, see, I said over 40. This was a long time ago. I would look at this again. Yeah, I mean, right now it doesn't meet my criteria. But there's so many different things to go after, look at, right? Take twos or whatever. Industrials. Wow, this is the most exciting looking thing. I mean, look at this. Base consolidating. So, anyways, you guys, that's it. I will catch you all tomorrow.